Morning students. So today we will start work, energy and power. This is your chapter 2. So first we will see work. Actually sometimes we are thinking that when we are watching television, we are cooking vegetables, we are thinking that we are doing any work, but actually according to physics we are not doing at that time any work. Why? Because according to physics, what is work? If you apply some force and the body displaces some distance, and that time only we can say that work is done. Suppose I am pushing this board, this board is blackboard is not moving. That means what? I am not doing any work. So work equals to force into displacement, F into D. So if there is a force, there is a displacement, then only we can say that work is done. If force is 0, then work is 0. If displacement is 0, then work is also 0. And one more expression for work is there, W equals to F is cos theta. If force is applied in this direction and the displacement of the body is in this direction and the angle between them is theta, then W is equals to F is cos theta. On the basis of this formula, we can divide the work into 3 parts: positive work, zero work and negative work. For positive work, if theta equals to 0, cos 0 is 1 into Fs, that is your W equals to what? Fs. So for positive work, W equals to Fs. For zero work, which value of cos theta is 0? 90 degree. That means when theta is 90 degree, when the force and the displacement are perpendicular to each other, then in that case work done is 0. When theta is 90 degree. And in which case work done is negative? When theta is 180 degree. So when theta is 180 degree, cos 180 is minus 1. So W equals to minus Fs. F is cos 180 is your minus 1. So W equals to minus Fs. So we will discuss one by one. So case 1, you see, when theta equals to 0 degree, when theta equals to 0, that means what? When the force and the displacement are in the same direction. Suppose this is a block and giving the force in this direction and the block also displaced in this direction, in the same direction, that means theta equals to 0. So for that case W equals to Fs. For example, one more example, suppose for freely falling body. For freely falling body, suppose I am throwing this chalk in the downward direction, it is moving in the downward direction. So you see, this chalk is moving in the downward direction, that means the displacement is in the downward direction and the force is also in the downward direction, because that is this force is what? Gravity. The gravity is always acting towards the downward direction. So force, you see, force is in the downward direction, this is a gravity F equals to mg, and the displacement is also in the downward direction, that is related with this height h. So work equals to F is cos theta, you can write here cos theta, but since this force and the displacement are in the same direction, so theta equals to 0 and cos 0 is 1. So cos 0 is 1, then force equals to what? Mg, and the distance is here h, so F W equals to mg h. This is your work done due to a freely falling body, that is your W equals to mgh. Similarly, case 2, when theta is 90 degree, then work done is 0. So cos 90 is 0. So we can give the example, when a body moves in a circular path, you know, when a body moves in a circular force, the centripetal force is acting, and the centripetal force is always towards the center. Suppose the body is here, one body is revolving around this circular path. So if the point object is here, for this point the force is towards the center and the displacement is in this direction. Why? Because this displacement is the tangent at that point. So force and the displacement are in this direction and the angle between them is 90 degree, then work done is 0. Similarly, at this point force is in this direction, displacement is in this direction. Suppose at this point force is in this direction and the displacement is in this direction, so the theta is 90 degree, so work done is 0. Cos 90 is 0. Suppose the planets revolving around the sun, in that case also work done is 0, and also you can see this formula also, that work equals to force into displacement, and when a body is revolving around a circular path, the displacement is 0. So that also work done is 0. You can also use this formula or this formula also, that cos 90 is 0, because for a round tree the initial point and the final point coincide, that's why the work done is 0. And also one more example I can give you. Suppose one pulley is moving in the horizontal plane, horizontal direction, and carrying a load. When the pulley is carrying a load and walking in the horizontal direction, you see, is carrying a load and moving in the forward direction. So this is your displacement, and the force of gravity, that is in the downward direction, and in the horizontal direction, that means this is the displacement, and this one is your force of gravity. So work done is 0. So when a pulley is carrying a load and moving in the forward direction, then the work done by the pulley is 0. So this is the example of 0 work. Then case 3, when theta is 180 degree. 180 degree, that means force and the displacement. If force is in this direction, then the displacement will be in the this direction, opposite direction. In that case also, theta is here 180 degree. So work done is F is cos 180. Cos 180 is your -1. So W equals to minus Fs. Suppose this is your theta equals to 0 for freely falling body. When I will throw one body in the upward direction, I will throw the upward direction, that means what? The displacement is on upward direction and the weight is acting in the downward direction, and the displacement and the force are in the opposite direction. In that case, theta is 180 degree. So the work done is W is equals to what? Minus mgh, and the work done is negative. Generally, the work done by the opposing force, like your frictional force, is always negative. Why? Because this opposing force is always try to stop the body, try to decrease the speed of the body. So generally the work done by the opposing force is always negative. Work done by the frictional force is negative. So the work done by the opposing force is negative. Now we will see. In this way also you can calculate the work by applying formula. Also in the graphical method also you can calculate work done. You see, just see, if the force is variable, the force is vary continuously, it is directly proportional to displacement. When the displacement is increasing, the force is also increasing. Okay. So this is a graph, force versus displacement, and if suppose up to the force is varying up to here, I can draw one perpendicular here. Now you see, this is our one triangle. If you want to calculate the work done by this force, then you can calculate the area of this enclosed curve. Okay. So what is this? Is a what? Right angle triangle. So half into base OA, and height is your what? AB. So half into OA into AB. Okay. So this is your what? You can calculate that means work done is equals to area enclosed by this sketch with the displacement axis. The area enclosed by this sketch and the displacement axis. So that work done equals to half into base into height. And if the force is constant, displacement is increasing but force is constant, then the graph will be like this. Then also you just draw here perpendicular, and the area enclosed by this curve, this figure is your what? Work done. And you see, this is a rectangle, and the rectangle area is what? Length into breadth. So this is your length and this one is your breadth. So W equals to what? F into S. In this way also you can calculate the work done. Now you see, this is your what? Mathematically you can calculate, graphically you can also calculate by finding the area enclosed by the sketch with the displacement axis. And after that you see, the unit of work, the SI unit is joule, and 1 joule equals to 1 Newton into 1 meter. CGS unit is erg, 1 erg equals to 1 dyne into 1 centimeter. Suppose one question is how you can define joule. So when 1 Newton force acting on the body and this 1 Newton force displaces a body through 1 meter distance, then only we can say that 1 joule work is done. Similarly for CGS unit the force unit is dyne and the distance unit is centimeter. So 1 erg equals to 1 dyne into 1 centimeter. So if 1 dyne force displaces a body through 1 centimeter distance, then that is your what? 1 erg. And you can also convert that joule to erg, that is your 1 joule equals to 1 Newton into 1 meter. 1 Newton is 10 to the power 5 dyne, 1 meter is 100 centimeter. So 10 to the power 5 into 10 to the power 2, that is your 10 to the power 7 erg. So this is also the CGS unit of work. Okay, now we will say power. What is power? Power is your what? Rate of doing work. Rate of doing work, that is your P equals to W by T. That means it depends on time. Also you can say that power measures how fast you are doing your work, how fast you are doing work. Suppose I am giving you one example. Suppose 2 coolies there, coolie A, coolie B. Coolie A takes 1 minute to lift a load to the roof of a bus. It takes 1 minute, and coolie B takes 2 minutes to lift a load to the roof of a bus. So the work done by the 2 coolie is same because the displacement is same and the force is also same, but the power for 2 coolie is different. Why? Coolie A takes 1 minute but coolie B takes 2 minutes for same work. That means whose power is more? Coolie A power is more because it took 1 minute. So that power is we can also say that power is inversely proportional to time. If time is less, then power is more. If time is more, then power is less. So it depends on time. And also we can say that also power measures the speed of work. Okay. Then the SI unit of power, you see, the SI, you already know the SI unit of work is joule and time is second. 1 watt equals to 1 joule by 1 second. And also we can define also what is watt. If 1 joule work is done in 1 second, that is your what? 1 watt. Suppose your electric bulb, one bulb is there, electric bulb, that electric bulb power is 60 watt. That does, what does it mean? 60 watt means what? 60 joule of work is done in 1 second. Suppose 100 watt, that means 100 joule of work is done in 1 second. That means which power is more? 100 watt bulb. Yes or no? So 1 watt equals to 1 joule by 1 second. Some bigger units of power is also there, that is the kilowatt. 1 kilowatt is 10 to the power 3 watt, 1 megawatt 10 to the power 6 watt. Some smaller units are also there, that is your milliwatt, microwatt. 1 milliwatt is your 10 to the power minus 3 watt, 1 microwatt is your 10 to the power minus 6 watt. And maximum case one unit of power is generally we are using, that is your hertz power. So 1 HP is equals to 746 watt. So this is the formula for power, and many times in exam in questions coming, what is the relation between power and velocity? Power and velocity. You see, this is very easy. So power is equals to, this is your one maybe question is there, that P is equals to W by T, and we know that what is W? W is equals to what? Fs. Fs when the force and the displacement are in the same direction. So F into S by T, but the displacement, this S by T is your what? Speed, average speed. So power is equals to force into speed, F into V. Force into velocity also you can say that. So P is equals to F dot V. Okay, you see what does it mean? This dot means what? We will read in the higher class that this is not in your that syllabus, but this P is equals to what? F dot B. This is your dot product. Actually we have two product, one is your cross product and one is your dot product. A dot B is equals to what? A B cos theta. A magnitude, B magnitude, cos theta. And A cross B is equals to what? A magnitude, B magnitude, sine theta and one unit vector. That means what? The dot product result gives you a scalar quantity, because you see this A magnitude, B magnitude and cos theta, but a cross product result will give you a vector, that is your A magnitude, B magnitude, sine theta, and this is your unit vector that will give you the direction. So now you see this P is equals to F dot B. So force is a scalar vector quantity, velocity is a vector quantity. So the dot product of two vector quantity gives you a scalar quantity. That means power is a scalar quantity. Understood? So power is a scalar quantity. Why? Because it is the dot product of force into force and the velocity. About this dot product and cross product you will discuss later. We will discuss some more thing and you will also know in the higher class. And similarly work is equals to what? F S cos theta. That is your work is equals to what? F dot S, because A dot B is your what? AB cos theta. Similarly work is equals to what? F dot S. So force dot displacement. Force is a vector quantity, displacement is a vector quantity. So the dot product of two vector quantity gives you a scalar quantity. So that means work is also a scalar quantity. So we have read work and power. Work is a scalar quantity and power is also a scalar quantity. Why? Because it is the dot product of two vector quantity. Okay students, thank you. Okay, now we will see energy. What is energy? We have discussed already work. And energy is your ability to do work, capacity to do work. Okay, for work we need energy. Okay, without energy we cannot do any work. So energy is a ability to do work. As work is a scalar quantity, so energy is also a scalar quantity. Okay, suppose I get up from the morning and I have to run. Okay, I will run. So I need food. Okay, and that food gives you energy. So for work we need energy. There are different forms of energies are there, like your sound energy, light energy, electric energy, magnetic energy, nuclear energy. So many energies are there, and mechanical energy. And now we will discuss the mechanical energy. In your book that mechanical energy is there in different forms are there. So in mechanical energy, that is two types, that is a potential energy and kinetic energy. So we will discuss one by one. So potential energy, first potential energy. What is potential energy? Potential energy is possessed by a body due to its position, location, size, shape, configuration. Due to its position, suppose I am standing here, I am not walking here, and I am having some potential energy. Okay, suppose so potential energy is your what? Due to its size, shape, location and the configuration. And we will discuss two types of potential energy, that is the gravitational potential energy and elastic potential energy. Suppose one body is here on the surface of earth. We want to take this body from here to here. So we have to do some work, and that work is converted to energy, and that energy stored in the body. This is your what? Potential energy, and potential energy expression is your U is equals to mgh. This is your gravitational potential energy, because since here it is related to gravity, the force is here gravity, that is your F equals to what? M into G. Now we will see the elastic potential energy. Suppose I am taking here one spring. That spring is elastic in nature, one spring. Okay, so if I will compress the spring, if I will compress or expand the spring, I have to do some work. Yes or no? And that work is converted to energy, and that energy is stored inside the spring, and that is your what? Elastic potential energy. So in the spring normal form, the spring is having no potential energy. But if we will expand or compress, that means we have to do some work for compressing or for expanding. So for that work is converted to energy, and that energy is stored inside the spring, and that is your what? Elastic potential energy. And this elastic potential energy expression is your half k x square. This k is your spring constant, and this spring constant depends on the material of the spring. and this x is the how much it is compressed or how much it is expand. That means we conclude one thing, the expanded spring or compressed spring is having some potential energy. Okay. Now we will discuss the second form of mechanical energy, that is your what? Kinetic energy. What is kinetic energy? That kinetic energy is the energy possessed by your body due to its motion. That means the moving body is only having kinetic energy. So the kinetic energy expression is your what? The kinetic energy, you know also that before that in class 8, 9 you have read that kinetic energy is equals to half mv square. Okay, so now we will see that how kinetic energy is equals to half mv square, that is your expression for kinetic energy. And before studying this expression, we will discuss one thing, that is in this way also we can define kinetic energy, that kinetic energy is a amount of work is done by the moving body before it comes to rest. ओके, रेस्ट से पहले, रेस्ट होने से पहले जितना अमाउंट ऑफ वर्क करेगा, दैट इज योर व्हाट? काइनेटिक एनर्जी. दैट मीन्स फॉर कैलकुलेटिंग काइनेटिक एनर्जी we have to find the work done by the moving body before coming to rest. So suppose one body is moving with some initial velocity before stopping, how much work is done by that body? That means here velocity is decreasing. That means here the force is a retarding force. Acceleration is a retardation. Here not acceleration is not acceleration. This acceleration is a retardation, means negative acceleration. Why? Because the velocity is gradually decreasing. So kinetic energy is your work done by the retarding force. Why I have written here retarding force? Because this force decreases the velocity of the body. This force stops the body. So work done by the retarding force F in displaces before stopping it. So kinetic energy is also denoted by K. You can write here K. So kinetic energy, suppose I have written here F into S, because this is your what? Work done equals to force into displacement. So kinetic energy is equals to this work done is your F into S. This force is your what? Mass into acceleration, and this displacement is your S. Okay. Suppose initial velocity is your V, I am taking here initial velocity V and final velocity 0, because it is coming to rest, that is why final velocity is your 0. So according to the third equation of motion, V square minus U square equals to what? 2as, and this final velocity is 0, initial velocity is V square 2as, and here A is your negative sign. Why? Because this is retardation. This is your retarding force is here acting. So A is your what? Negative, minus 2as. So this negative cancel, S equals to V square by 2a. So displacement equals to V square by 2a. Then kinetic energy is equals to Fs, F equals to MAS, and you see here mass acceleration in place of S, we can write this V square by 2a. So this A and A cancel, then kinetic energy is equals to half mv square. Okay, and also you may be thinking that that kinetic energy is the work done, and I have told that work done is equals to F S cos theta, W is equals to F S cos theta. Yes, this formula is only this F S cos theta is your F S, because here theta is equals to 0. Suppose one body is here, this body is moving in this direction, I am applying the force in this direction, this body is moving in this direction, and suppose initial velocity is V and the final velocity is here 0. Since we are applying the force in this direction and the displacement is in this direction, then this theta is 0, so cos 0 is what? 1. So kinetic energy is equals to Fs. In this way also you can understand. So this easy way that kinetic energy is your Fs, F equals to mass into acceleration into S. So first we have to calculate the value of S by using the third equation of motion. Then after that you will get kinetic energy is equals to what? Half mv square. So if speed, because you see half mv square, if speed is more, if V is more, then kinetic energy is also more. That kinetic energy depends on the speed of the body. Now we will see the relation between kinetic energy and momentum. Okay, you know momentum P is equals to mass into velocity, that kinetic energy and momentum. You see, this is very important relation, many times it is coming in the exam. That is, your kinetic energy is equals to what? Half mv square, and momentum is your m into v. So how we will relate kinetic energy with momentum? So kinetic energy half mv square, I am just multiplying here m here and here. So this will be your what? M square. So m square v square by क्या कर दे रहे kinetic energy is your half mv square, momentum is your m into v. Okay, I just multiplied 1 m here and divide m. So if I will multiply m here, then it will be m into m square v square by m. You see, if m cancel, then again you will get this final 1/2 mv square, and this m square v square you can write mv whole square by m, and this mv is your what? Momentum p. So p whole square, m in place of mv you can write p, so half p square by m. So kinetic energy is equals to p square by 2m. This is your relation between kinetic energy and momentum. You will see one thing, if momentum is constant, then kinetic energy is inversely proportional to mass, and also you can write in this way also, that momentum p is equals to 2m kinetic energy, root over of 2m kinetic energy. That means your mass, if kinetic energy is constant, then mass is directly proportional to momentum. Similarly here, if momentum is constant, then kinetic energy is inversely proportional to mass. That means if two bodies are there, A and B, A body is having mass small m and B body is having mass capital M, and A is a lighter body, B is a heavier body, then you see, if mass is less, if momentum is same, then kinetic energy is what? If momentum is same and if mass is less, then kinetic energy will be more. So the kinetic energy of lighter body is more than the kinetic energy of heavier body. That means the lighter body will move faster than the heavier body if the momentum is constant. Okay. Thank you. Now we'll see. Start. Now we will see the work energy theorem. This is very important, that is a work energy theorem. You see this work energy theorem. What is work energy theorem? Work done on the body is equals to increase in kinetic energy, and this energy means is your kinetic energy. Work energy theorem, it is this energy is only valid for kinetic energy. Okay, so the work done on the body equals to increase in kinetic energy. For example, suppose one block is moving some means smaller velocity. If I will give extra force and its speed will increase, that means I am giving some force, then only the speed of that body increases. That means whatever work I have given, that one is converted to what? Energy. That means work done on the body is equals to what? Increase in kinetic energy. That means whatever work I have given, that will increase the speed of the body. So that is your what? Increase. If the speed of the body increases, that means in kinetic energy will be increases. So work done equals to increase in kinetic energy. This is your work energy theorem. Now you see, we can also prove this work energy theorem. You see, suppose consider a body of mass m moving with initial velocity u, and after giving force, its velocity increases from u to v. So first, suppose one force is acting on the body, that force is equals to what? Mass into acceleration. Then the work done by the body, work equals to F into S. So according to the third equation of motion, v square minus e square equals to what? 2as. Then s equals to v square minus e square by 2a, and you see it for work done is equals to what? F into s. In place of F we can write m into a, and in place of s we can write V square minus U square by 2a. So this a cancel, then work done is equals to half mv square minus half mu square. So half mv square, v is your what? Final velocity. So this is your final kinetic energy. U is your initial velocity. So this is your initial kinetic energy. So work done is equals to increase in kinetic energy or change in kinetic energy. I hope you have understood this work energy theorem. Whatever work you have given, that work is converted to energy. Okay, that means energy, you know that energy is your ability to do work. Okay, for energy you have to find out first work. This is your work energy theorem. So now we will see the conservation of energy for freely falling body. What is conservation of energy? So conservation of energy, according to the law of conservation of energy, energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but one form of energy can converted into another form. And for this is conservation of energy for freely falling body. When a body is moving in the downward direction with constant force, in that case only we can say that this body is freely falling. So how conservation of energy satisfied for freely falling body? So for conservation of energy, this is your principle, that is your kinetic energy plus potential energy is constant. For freely falling body, suppose one body is moving from A to B, this body is freely falling, this A to B, and we will consider 3 points A, B and C, and we can prove that at each point total energy, that is your kinetic energy plus potential energy, is constant. I am taking here 3 points A, B and C. First I will find the total energy at point A, then total energy at point B, then total energy at point C. If at this 3 points the total energy is constant, then the conservation of energy is satisfied. So first, this is a body position A, this is your ground level C, here to this height is your h, at A to B the distance x, so this distance will be your h minus x. Why? Because this total distance is your h and this one is your x, so this will be your h minus x. So at point A, we will find the total energy. So at point A the body is at rest. So velocity is 0. So kinetic energy is 0. Why? Because kinetic energy is half mv square. So kinetic energy is 0. But since this body is at height h above the ground, so potential energy is mgh. We have discussed that potential energy is mgh. Then the total energy is kinetic energy plus potential energy. So 0 plus mgh is equals to mgh. So at A the total energy is mgh. Then this body is moving, falling from here to here, A to B, covers a distance x. At B it already covers a distance x, but this body's initial velocity is 0, and since it is moving in the downward direction, so the acceleration will be A equals to g, and the distance covered from A to B is your s equals to x. Then according to the third equation of motion, v square minus u square equals to 2as. So here you see v square, initial velocity is 0, so u is 0 equals to 2gx. So v square equals to what? U square plus 2as, and initial velocity is 0, so u is 0, 2 in place of a you can write g, and s is the distance travelled by the body from A to B, and the distance is x. So v square equals to 2gx. But we know that kinetic energy is half mv square, so half m in place of v square you can write 2gx. So 2 cancel, that is your what? mgx. So kinetic energy is your mgx. Now we will see potential energy. So potential energy is your what? mgh, height above the ground. You see this is your B point and this is your C. Height above the ground, this height is your what? H minus x. Why? Because this total is your h, this one is x. So this will be your what? H minus x. So we can write potential energy is equals to mgh minus x. So mgh minus mgx. So total energy will be your kinetic energy mgx and potential energy is your mgh plus mgx. So this one and this one is cancelled, so total energy is again mgh. Okay, so at point B also we got total energy is mgh. Now we will see at point C. At C is your what? Ground level. Height is what? 0. So if height is 0, at ground if height is 0, then potential energy is also equals to 0. And initial velocity is already 0 and S, now S is your what? This much distance, that is your what? H, V square minus U square equals to 2GH. Now in place of S, we can write H. In place of A, we can write G. Initial velocity is the 0. So V square equals to 2GH. And kinetic energy is half mv square. So half m. In place of V square, you can write 2GH. So 2 cancel. Kinetic energy is mgh. And potential energy is 0. Why? Because height is 0. Height above the ground is 0. So total energy is mgh. So you can see at point A, at point B and at point C, the total energy is mgh, mgh and mgh. So this energy is conserved at each point for freely falling body. So this is the conservation of energy for freely falling body. That means, so you see also one thing you see, at highest point the total energy is your potential energy. When this body moves downward direction, this height decreases. So as height decreases, potential energy is also decreases, and that much of potential energy is continuously converted into kinetic energy. Okay, at this point, suppose at this point, this highest point, suppose 50 joule, total is your 50 joule energy. So this is your what? Totally potential energy, and here kinetic energy is what? 0. When this body will come from A to B, the potential energy let it be 25 joule and kinetic energy will be your 25. This, if you see first, this one is a 50, but now it is 25. That means 25 joule of potential energy is lost, and that one is converted to kinetic energy. And this ground, this potential energy is 0 and kinetic energy is your 50 joule. At the highest point, the total energy is potential energy, and the ground, the total energy is your kinetic energy. Okay, and here the potential energy is converting into kinetic energy. There is no loss of energy. That's why this is your conservation of energy. Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. We can also draw one diagram, energy versus height. You see, energy versus height, I just draw 3 lines. You mark one thing, this is your constant line. That's why this is your total energy. As height increases, but the total energy is constant. Yes or no? The total energy is constant. If height increases, the total energy is constant. And from ground to maximum height, which one is increasing at the maximum height? Which energy is maximum? Potential energy. So its potential energy is increasing and the kinetic energy is decreasing. At the ground, to potential energy is what? Here at the ground, the potential energy is what? 0, and total energy is your kinetic energy. That's why you see this much is your what? Kinetic energy. And now you see this kinetic energy is gradually maximum height to ground, the kinetic energy is decreases and the potential energy is increases. Okay. Conservation of energy due to a simple pendulum. So suppose this is a pendulum, it is suspended, here is its support. Okay, suppose this pendulum is resting at point A, and suppose this pendulum displaces from A to B. Okay, and after, if we will leave the pendulum, it will oscillate. Okay, in both the sides it covers equal distances. Okay, and here one thing you remember, suppose you just neglect here that frictional force, you will neglect. So at this highest point, you see this is your B point, suppose A, B and C point. At this each point also we can see that at each point the total energy is constant. So first you see at this point this pendulum is at rest. Okay. So if the pendulum is at rest, then the kinetic energy is 0. And from the ground level, it is at height h above the ground. So potential energy is what? mgh, and the total energy is 0 plus mgh is mgh. Okay. So when you will leave the pendulum from here, then it will come here. So here the total energy is what? Potential energy. And here you will see if the pendulum will come from here to here, this height decreases. That means what? Potential energy is decreasing. So that much potential energy is converted to kinetic energy. And at this position, mean position, this total energy is your what? Kinetic energy. And here this height is what? 0. From the ground it is 0. This is, I am considering this is the ground level. So h is equals to 0, so potential energy is 0, but kinetic energy is again mgh. You can also prove that for freely falling body, you can also prove that kinetic energy is mgs, so the total energy is also mgs. From here to here, the potential energy is decreasing and the kinetic energy is increasing, and at this point the kinetic energy is maximum. And if kinetic energy is maximum, kinetic energy is what? Half mv square. If kinetic energy is maximum, then speed is also maximum, and with this speed the pendulum will move from here to here, and at this point you see this height is increasing, so the potential energy is increasing, and at this point the kinetic energy will be 0. Why? Because here potential energy is increasing, so height is increasing, potential energy increasing, and the kinetic energy is decreasing, and at this point the kinetic energy is what? 0. Kinetic energy is 0. Potential energy is mgh. Total energy is again 0 plus mgh is your mgh. And since kinetic energy is here 0 and kinetic energy is your half mv square, mass cannot be 0. So speed is 0. So if speed is 0, then the body will again move from here to here, and at this point again it will gain the kinetic energy, and with this kinetic energy it will move from here to here. Again at this point kinetic energy is 0, velocity is 0, that's why again the body will move from here. So that is your like this the pendulum will oscillate, and this is your conservation of energy for simple pendulum.